My name is Bosse. I'm a mom of two. I have a 4-year-old girl and a 3-month-old baby boy. I'm nearly postpartum. Let's get right into it. For having kids, one thing I thought was going to be very difficult would be sleep, right? So I told myself that, oh, sleepless nights would be like one big thing that I'm going to have to deal with. It's going to be temporary and life goes on from there. But there's so many other things. There's so many other things that I would say I didn't really think through. But I want to say that I love my children. This is not a bashing motherhood video. This is just things that I wish I knew before having kids. And just, if I'd known, maybe just prepare my mind, right? Since first, I'm in Canada, so I don't have help. By help, if you're watching this and you're in Nigeria or you're from any other country where you're able to get help in certain areas. So I'm just me and my husband. We're the parents, we're the cook, the driver, the cleaner, literally the everything. So one thing I wish I knew was how much that was gonna take a toll on us. I think I should speak for just myself in this video. My husband will be fine. So one thing I wish I knew was how much that's gonna take a toll on me as a mom. And I don't know if I've mentioned in any of my videos before, but my husband travels for work, right? So my husband traveling for work means that if I'm home, I'm everything to our children. Now children, oh wow. Look at me, little me with 2 kids. So that means I'm home and I'm everything to my children. Let me give an example. When my daughter started daycare, she started daycare when she turned 1 a few years ago. And when she started daycare, Abby was away for work. I was working from home at the time, fully remote. But I remember just being scared of losing my job. And that was because when she started daycare, any mom knows this. The moment your child starts daycare, it's almost as if all the sicknesses, illnesses, all the flu, everything, they start having it back to back. So I remember teachers constantly calling me, oh, you need to come pick her up, she's sick, I'll pick her up today. I have to tell my manager, my supervisor then, like, oh, I'm so sorry, I have to go pick my daughter up, I'm so sorry, I have to go. Constantly having to take that break from work, it got to a point that I was actually scared. I was seriously scared that I was going to lose my job. I was scared. I'm glad that didn't happen, but that was a fear that I had. And that was something that actually took me by surprise, right? And my daughter being sick, again, here in Canada, the healthcare system is different in the sense that you go to the merge, if you let your daughter, like, let your child be sick, I'm sorry, you still wait the 7-8 hours at the merge to see a doctor, especially if you don't have a family doctor that you can go see. That's not what this video is about. But yeah, that was one of the things that I wish I knew, and it took a toll on me, which takes me to my next point, is that please, your mental health is something that, as a mom, as a new mom, as a first-time mom, your mental health is something that you should not joke with. Don't joke with it at all. Because whether you like it or not, having a baby, having a child, bringing a new child into your life is going to change the dynamic of your life. That's it. It's your body changes, your mind changes, your environment. Something is changing. It's not going to remain the same. Having a child is not the same thing as being married. You're married. This is an adult you're dealing with. Your partner is an adult. He's able to take care of himself, right? He's able to be there for himself. He's able to regulate things by himself. But you have a child that does not even, like this, the baby is crying for everything. He wants to eat, they're crying. He wants to poop, they're crying. He wants to sleep, cry. Carry me, cry. Everything is cry. So sometimes you don't even know what you're doing, right? So it affects your mental health, right? So please, let me say this by saying that if you start to feel like something is not feeling right, let your doctor know, let the people in your environment know, let your close ones know, so they know how best to help you. Because as moms, personally, I tend to want to withdraw from people, and I did a lot of that with my daughter. Right? I felt like I only could understand me. I felt like no one else could understand what I was going through at the time. So I found myself withdrawing. I did it differently with my son now, and it feels much better. But with my daughter, oh my goodness, it wasn't easy for me at the time because I just did not know how to navigate what was happening to me I didn't know how to navigate what was happening to me. Let me start by when we came back from the hospital, and I wanted to breastfeed my daughter. That was the goal. I'm going to breastfeed. I had a baby, of course, breast milk is going to come out, right? But then I didn't have my breast milk come out until I think day 2 of having my daughter. But then let me just pause here and say shout out to moms that are exclusively breastfeeding, because I went through a lot with my daughter when I was breastfeeding, and this was something that no one could have explained it to me in a way that I would have understood what I was about to get myself into at the time. Because breastfeeding is, you are literally on demand food supply for this human being. That's what you are, on demand food supply. And if you're not lucky to have a child that will not sleep until you breastfeed the child, I'm sorry, I don't know how you're going to do that. So that was it with my daughter. You will have to wake me up at night to breastfeed her. First in the morning, I'm breastfeeding, and she was cluster feeding at a point, so I was constantly breastfeeding. We introduced formula as well, don't get me wrong. So we introduced formula as well because I'm pro fed is best. Breast milk, oh, if it's breast milk, you give the child. If it's formula, you have give the child. If your child is drinking ogi, give the child. As long as that child is fed and the child is alive, fed is best, as in my own opinion, right? But I wanted to breastfeed. That's why I was putting myself through all of that. And they were formula feeding my child as well. So because I knew at the time that with breastfeeding, if you want, breastfeeding is literally the more demand, it's a demand and supply thing, right? So the more a child breastfeeds, the more supply you get. But I was not prepared for how draining it was. I think I was only able to do that for 3 months, and after 3 months, my baby girl, she took what was I'd already pumped in the freezer, and she was on formula. You fight for yourself. I have tried for you. I have tried for you. I've tried my best. Fight for yourself. Right now, she's 4. She's all good. She's a lovely, smart kid. So that's one of the things that I was not prepared for. There was no way you could have explained to me. I think it's one of the, like, the thing with motherhood is that no matter how many books you read, no matter what people tell you, how they advise you, if you've not, you need to experience it. You need to wear, it's one of those things where you need to actually wear the shoes to know exactly where it hurts. So that's about that, right? So the other thing is people, this one they told me, they even started telling me from when I was pregnant, your sleep, you better sleep now. And when the baby comes to sleep, when the baby sleeps. Yo, there is sleep deprivation and there's tiredness. You see those two things, totally different as far as I'm concerned. Because there were days where I felt like I just need to sleep, right? So my mom, because I have my around with my daughter and I have her around now, she's home with me, with my son, she's watching my son. Shout out to my mom, she's the best. So, and I'll tell my husband and my mom that, oh, I want to sleep. And they'll say, oh, go and sleep now. You're tired, go and sleep. And I'll sleep. But then, because I'm breastfeeding, I can't sleep for too long, right? And this was, with my son, it's a different story. I'll talk about him. I'm coming, that boy. I'll talk about him. With my daughter, because I'm breastfeeding, I can't sleep for too long because I sleep and then they wake me up, oh, it's time for her to feed, I feed her. My son is different because I'm not breastfeeding my son, but I'm exclusively pumping. Oh, I laugh in Spanish. I'm pumping. And I didn't start, this is, sorry if this video sounds like it's all over the place, but I didn't pump because I wanted to. I kind of fell into pumping. And let me explain why. When we brought my boy home, the doctor told us that babies are expected to lose about, is it 10% of their birth weight? Like a few days, and then they gain it back, right? Because they're adjusting. So my son had almost lost 10% of his birth weight. So the doctors, the nurses were worried. So they said, you know what, go get him one of those fast flow bottles. Because it was being formula fed, my breast milk. This was, I think, day 3, day 2, I can't remember. My breast milk wasn't coming out well at day 3. I still wasn't having any supply. So I said, you know what, I still want to breastfeed my boy. So I was using the electric pump. So I was pumping and pumping. I was dry pumping for, I think, 2 days. I dry pumped. And what that means was that I was power pumping, which I would not advise anybody to do because I just put myself through the worst pain. I was power pumping, and what I was doing then was I'll pump for 40 minutes, rest for 30 minutes. It was so bad that I just, because I was power pumping, I just left the pumps on this, right? So I just left them on. I didn't take them out. Pump, I set the timer, 30 minutes, I pump. I went through shag. I don't know who asked me to do that. I wish I had just left my body to just be and just do its thing instead of forcing it to overdo. But anyways, back to what I was saying. He wasn't feeling well. So they asked us to get one of those fast flow nipple bottles for him, right? So I got the fast flow bottle for him. So by the time my breast milk started coming out, he had gotten used to taking the fast flow. So he was not patient enough to actually take it directly. So that's how I became an exclusive pumper. Now we're 3 months in, and like, I don't have space in my freezer. I'm now an oversupplier because now my body is used to constantly producing milk. I don't have space in my freezer anymore. And I'm now at 3 months trying to now reduce my pumping times. But then the downside to that is that I'm in a lot of pain most of the time. There's no easy one, because someone can easily say, oh, just do formula for the child. I'm like, will you come and buy the formula now? Come and buy it for me, please, because people forget that things are different. Your easy might not be my easy, right? So do you know how much these children eat? Do you know how many formula bottles, do you know how many formula you have to buy every week if your child is one that eats a lot? Do you know? I'm pumping. It's not just the pain, it's the constant washing of bottles. You wash the bottle, you sterilize the bottle, you wash the pump part, you sterilize. Hey, I'm always washing. While I was breastfeeding my daughter as well, that was a whole different story. So what I said is to say that it's different for everybody. Motherhood is beautiful. It's when you're sleep deprived, and you sometimes you wake up, and then it's almost like you're trying to, they'll tell you, but you just slept. Oh, I just slept. I slept for 2 hours. I'm tired. So you're tired, you sleep deprived, but like, I want to say that at the end of the day, now I'm filming this at 3 months postpartum. It's just to let you know that you eventually adapt. Things do get better. It do get better. It does get better. It gets better at the end of the day. You adapt. You finally find a system that works for you. Finally find a system that works for you. And then here, the other thing is, this one, I knew this with my daughter, but with my son, I kind of just got myself too much into spending so much time on social media and thinking that I need some things that you actually don't need. And it's quite interesting, because if you see the amount of baby products that are out there, I understand why it can be overwhelming when you're expecting a baby and then you just think you need everything. Only you have 3 different bassinets, and then the baby comes, the baby does not even sleep in one of the bassinets. Different types of, you buy a whole bunch of diapers and wipes and everything, and then the baby comes and you realize that your baby is reacting to this diaper, and this diaper doesn't work for your child, and then this wipe doesn't. It's just, like I said, it's different for different people, but I personally wish I know that babies do not need a lot of things. Now, if my advice to anyone that is trying to shop for a newborn is, think of these things. Think of the routine for the child, and maybe categorize what you're trying to get for the child based on the child's routine. This is what I mean. What do children love? Sleep. So when you think sleep, where will my child sleep? What will my child wear to sleep? Are you following me? When my child is sleeping, what does that child, like you that you're sleeping? Babies don't need blankets and all of those things. They need a breathable, something they can, like, that is breathable, their bedding stuff, right? They don't need too much. So next up, you go to eat, feed, right? They sleep, they eat, right? What do I want to do? Do I want to exclusively breastfeed? Do I need formula for this child? That's it. Oh, baby, if I'm doing formula, that means I need bottles. I need to get a bottle. I don't want to stress myself. I want to get a bottle washer and a bottle sterilizer. If you don't want to do the water boiling method, I want to get a bottle sterilizer, right? Next thing, poop. Oh, this child is going to poop a lot. This child is going to need diaper. This child is going to need diaper cream. You need to give the child a bath. They need a bath soap, lotion. So if you can categorize it, that way you end up not spending much, because trust me, the first few months of their life, they don't need much, honestly. Personally, my daughter started needing a lot of things when she turned 1, when she started daycare. That's when she started needing indoor shoes and outdoor shoes. For the first year of her life, she didn't wear any shoe. Where is she going to? Who is she running away from that she needs shoes? Right? So things like that. So if you can put things into categories, it's going to help you identify what the child needs, and so you don't end up spending unnecessarily on what the child does not need. If that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. The other thing I wanted to talk about here is that one thing I wish I knew is that it's going to change the dynamic of your relationship. If you're not intentional about your relationship with your partner, it's going to change the dynamic of relationship. You and your partner build some intentionality into going on dates. If you're not able to go outside on dates, if you people are stuck inside. For us this winter, my first winter baby, I had my boy in December, and the weather, we've been stuck indoors. We are stuck indoors. What are the little things you can do to fill each other's cups? Do you want to watch a movie together? Do you want to just hang out and gist about the boy self and just gossiping together? Little things. It might seem little, but don't forget yourselves in the process. I'm begging you, if you're a couple watching this with your partner, don't forget yourselves in the process. Be intentional about building a relationship with yourself again, because what you think you knew about yourself, now you have someone else in the picture. In our case now, we have 2 people that joined us in this relationship now. Can you imagine? Well, no. But you understand what I'm trying to say. You understand what I'm trying to say. I think I mentioned earlier that I'm in Canada, so parenting, motherhood is different based on your environment. If you're lucky to be in an environment where you have help, don't know what God has done for you. You do not know what God has done for you. God has done for you a very big, massive thing, and I'm happy for you. In my case, my mom is here temporarily, and then she's gonna go back home because she's permanent resident. She's gonna go back home, right? And then when she goes back home, it's just me, my husband, and our children. When my husband goes back to work, if he has to travel for work, it's just me and the children. I don't think about that. No, I don't want to think about that. You're not going to make me think about that. But yes, anyways, I don't want this video to be too long, but there's a lot more things that are there. But I just also don't want this video to be, I'm not a prophet of doom, I'm sorry. I love my children, I love money. I identify that this is a season in my life that requires me to be present. And by being present, I'll say that it also requires me, if me putting myself aside temporarily to be present for my children, I'll do that. If I need to do that, I'll do that. My priorities right now is God, my family, my children, my husband, and everything else, right? And like I said, I'm going to try my best to live alongside that. But I also want to acknowledge that my season is different from other people's season. And that's one other thing I wish I knew is like, I'm an advocate for comparison is a stealer of joy. I say that a lot. I try my best not to compare myself to other people, even if we are living in the same city. Motherhood to me is different from motherhood to you. You and I cannot compare each other because, for one, my family dynamics is different from your family dynamics. So it would be unfair for me to say I want your own life, right? So if you're watching this video and you're starting to feel a certain way, if you're starting to feel a certain way in a certain situation, I want you to look at yourself, look inwardly at what motherhood means to you. What are the things you're doing and the things you can do? Motherhood is not the end of life. It's a very beautiful season. I look at my children, I cannot even imagine life without them. I love them so much. I can mention in the beginning about how like I had fear of losing my job at a point. That was a season. I don't have that fear anymore, because guess what? Yes, now I have a 3 month old. Now next year when it turns 1, by God's grace, is going to start daycare. And when it starts daycare, it's not even it will not happen to him in Jesus' name. It will happen. Because daycare babies, kids, that child that you've been sterilizing all his bottles, that you've been waking up at night to make sure his pacifier is clean and is sterilized and is this and is that, that child will start crawling and he will leave all the toys you bought for him, and decide to eat the remote. That was not that. When was the last time you cleaned the remote? Your child will put the remote in his mouth. If you blink and move your face like this, that child will go to where you kept your slippers. Some people call it flip-flops, whatever you choose to call it. The child doesn't even know what that thing is called. You will pick it up and try to put it in their mouths. If you are fast enough, you will collect it. If you are not, the child has already put it in his mouth and he has kept it moving. So children will do interesting things. Intentionally you are literally, as their mom, as their parents, you are literally trying your best to save your child from themselves. That's your job. That's the summary of what you are doing. You're trying to save your child from themselves. You're trying to make sure your child does not harm himself. So if you are saying, my own child will go to daycare and not fall sick, amen, no. Amen for you. I'm not being sarcastic, but amen for you. But me, I've prepared my mind now. It's different from my daughter's time. I thought something was wrong. This girl was, I will literally, I'll bring her home from daycare. I'll go pick her up. She'll get better. I'll send her to daycare. And without fail, the next day I'm going to pick her up again. I'm going to pick her up again. Something is happening. Every week. I was not prepared. It was later I found out that my mom friends were telling me, oh, we stock up on Tylenol and Advil. I said, I did not know. Tell me. You people did not tell me how much I'll have to spend. So with my son now, I am preparing myself already for his daycare. If it happens, I'm already planning ahead mentally, because that's where the work starts from. My mental health is very important. I'm already planning ahead mentally, so when it happens, it's not something I'm going to say, oh no, I did not know it's going to happen, right? Just moving on now to toddler stage. Another thing no one prepared me for is the money you want to use. This one is not a joke, because I think because I'm smiling, you think I'm joking. The money you want to use to buy unnecessary things for your newborn, gather that money and go and invest in water bottles for the toddler stage. Go and invest in water bottles. And when I say water bottles, don't buy 2, don't buy 3. If you can start with 10 different water bottles, just have water bottles. Because there's one thing that will happen for sure that you cannot escape. You will buy a water bottle, and in less than a week, your child, I don't have an example because I've thrown it all out. Your child will chew on that water bottle, chewing stick, gum. They will chew on it. Oh God. They will destroy the life of that water bottle. And then you will now start feeling bad. Oh, I can't send my child to daycare with this miserable looking water bottle, so I need to get a new one. And guess what? You get a new one in less than a week. Repeat. They repeat it again. They chew on it, you buy a new one, they chew on it. So when you pass the stage of child chewing on water bottle, the next stage now is your child picking up that water bottle and slamming it, doing things, just destroying it. If I say how much I've spent on water bottle, see, I feel like I should have started with these points. Invest in water bottles. Take that from me. You will become a pro at picking water bottles for your child. You become a pro water bottle picker. Because not only are you trying to find one that is a sturdy water bottle that when they throw it, it will not break, you're finding one that the straw of the bottle is so hard that no matter how much this child chews on this water bottle, nothing will happen to it. It will still be safe. It's a lie. I think it's Congito or something. The amount of what I bought different colors. My daughter will eat it. She will chew it. My chewing gum. So now I've even started now. I said I've added a few water bottles to my cat for my son. I don't want storage. Let me just have a shelf of water bottles. Let me just have a shelf. Lunchbox, that one, if the lunchbox still keeps the food warm, that one is not a problem. But you see water bottles. So interestingly, I'm not trying to discourage you. But I heard that water bottle thing follows them to teenager stage. And when they become teenagers, they won't be chewing on it again because of course they are smart now, they are big boys, big girls. Their friends cannot see them chewing on water bottle. But guess what? I heard that they will not tell you that they forgot it at soccer practice. that one is gone like that. Oh, I forgot it in class, that one is gone. Oh, I borrowed mine on my friend, that one is gone. So, my brother and my sisters, if there's anything you take from this video, is invest in water bottles. That's one thing I wish I knew. Who uses more than 10 water bottles in a year? What are you using it for? Is it food? That's it. I don't want this video to be too long. I think I've made it longer than it should be. My next video, I'll try to put it up in a few days, so watch out for that. If you watched this video up until this point, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for sticking with me. And if you've not liked, if you've not shared this video already while you were watching, don't forget to do that. And also, please don't forget to subscribe. And I will see you in my next video. Bye for now. Thank you.
Comfort that we could talk, but we don't.